Welcome to CityWise, a production of the City of Rochester. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. The Rochester Police Department is working hard to not only ensure that citizens are safe and protected, but also to make sure that the community is prepared and informed in the event of an active shooter situation. Leading this effort is Deputy Chief of Operations Scott Peters and Fabian Rivera, Commander of the Special Operations Division at the Rochester Police Department. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So the two of you combined have many years of experience in law enforcement. Can each of you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Sure. Almost 26 years with the department. 21 years out on patrol is my primary assignment. 16 years on the SWAT team. Last 3 years as the SWAT team commander. And now with operations, all the special teams all come under my command.
And Commander Rivera, you've been recently promoted.
Recently promoted. Thank you very much. I'm right now currently assigned to a Special Operations Division as the commander. I have 18 years of service. I also was a SWAT team member. I was a SWAT team assistant commander. I spent 14 years on the SWAT team. And right now, my base responsibilities are for all the special teams. That include SWAT.
Okay, so when the two of you first started out in your careers, did you ever envision that you would be training for, preparing people for active shooter situations?
I believe that, we started looking at, after the Columbine incident, really taking a good look at some of the responses, mainly from our end. Not really about what the public was looking at as far as how they responded, but how we would respond. As an active killer or aggressive deadly behavior started to pick up the trend, we started saying, well, we have to do a little bit more on not only how we responded, but also how people kind of a community approach in tackling that problem. How do they respond to it?
Right, and so Deputy Chief Peters, a couple years ago, all city employees received training. Again, you guys have been leading that effort, and you guys have some really good tools that you use to teach the public. And you brought a video with you today. Can you introduce that for us? Sure,
it's a video that we're trying to, I don't want to say standardize response for people, but keep it really simple so they can understand. They don't panic, they don't have to think too hard, especially during a traumatic experience. So the video is called Run, Hide, Fight. It was put together by, sponsored by Department of Homeland Security, and it was actually put together by the Houston School District. And so Department of Homeland Security was so impressed with the way that the video was done and the professionalism of it and the ease and simplicity to understand the material. So it's been kind of the basis that we've been using across the country. Right, and that's very well done. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that video right now.
It may feel like just another day at the office, but occasionally, life feels more like an action movie than reality. The authorities are working hard to protect you and to protect our public spaces. But sometimes bad people do bad things. Their motivations are different. The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference. Run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority.
Stop that guy! Stop that guy! Hey!
Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911.
Yes, we're to return to Washington. Help us!
If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly. The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the shooter. Your actions can make a difference for your safety and survival. Be aware and be prepared. And if you find yourself facing an active shooter, there are 3 key things you need to remember to survive. Run, hide, fight.
Really is a nice, well-done teaching tool, right? What are some of the questions that people ask of you guys when they see this video?
They ask a gamut of questions. Everything is, could it happen to me, or what should I do if it happens in my where I work or where I am? We can't really tell everybody to do the same thing in each situation, because it's going to change. And that's why we really kind of put it back on individual businesses or individual organizations to come up with their own safety plans. What's going to work for one building may not work for another building. So it's really, that's a way to get your employees buy-in and to get your really looking as far as a comprehensive safety plans.
And the psychology of the fight and flight. You know, there's a paradigm shift for folks to think of what martial arts should I take. how should I fight? And we can't answer that because, again, it's going to be on the individual if he's going to decide to fight. Again, you might be put in a position where you have no other choice.
Right.
And still, we have seen folks crippled with fear.
With fear. So what do you want people to remember? What do you want the takeaway to be in your trainings?
A lot of things that we look at is situational awareness. Being able to know your surroundings, being able to know where's the nearest exit. If I have to run, where am I running to? What's the quickest route? Do I need my purse? No. Do I need my cell phone? No.
Right.
It is the easiest access out of a situation.
Right.
Paying attention, because most people walk around and they're not even paying attention. They're in their own mind. They're in their cell phones. They're not looking at the people around you. You're not looking at the surroundings around you. You may go to the mall and go to the same stores all the time, but do you really know where the emergency exits are in there? So look up. Most human beings look down to avoid eye contact, to avoid being confrontational.
Right.
Look up, look people in the eyes, say hi, smile. You might, actually get a smile back, and you might, notice something that's a little bit different about another person. But, but that's the biggest thing.
Right. So if you do notice something is different, something is off, what should you do? What action should you take?
I think one of the things is if you see something, you have to say something. You have to bring it to someone's attention, either a coworker, a supervisor. If it's something that is in the criminal nature, or you see it's moving into this aggressive deadly behavior, 911. Let us, deal with the what ifs or oops.
Right.
Yeah, I would never tell somebody to get in the middle to try and stop something.
Okay.
That's an individual choice. Be the best witness you can be. So make sure you're safe, make sure your family's safe, and give us the best description of what's going on.
How has training changed for the law enforcement community in reacting to these situations that keep seeming to evolve?
Unfortunately, what we've seen, again, we started studying Columbine, and we started seeing the incidents of Virginia Tech. And we start seeing the evolution of our response. We do not wait. We got 2 officers or more, and we move towards the threat. We don't render aid. We move into fix, find, and try to deal with the situation. And
that's kind of one of the things that the video touches on, is that the police are here to take control of the situation, right?
And we're starting to incorporate a lot of our support resources. So I wouldn't expect a fireman to go in there and confront an armed subject, but they can be brought in right behind us to render immediate first aid for casualties. They can actually start to do life-saving protocols, and we can protect them, and we can also try and go and find the actual shooter itself. So we started to incorporate a lot of training with our with the fire departments, with emergency medical personnel, and it's just getting that change of a mindset. It used to be we'd surround a building and wait for the bad guy to give up or come on out. Now we're actually going inside there and confronting the individual.
In that term, it's a rescue task force. So basically, is bringing care or immediate medical support onto a situation where we used to wait until kids would bleed out. And if you see some of the case studies, most of these injuries, if we would have gotten there a little sooner,
timing.
It's all timing. So now we're introducing or in kind of trying to put a Band-Aid as we continue moving on to, addressing the threat versus waiting until the threat's completely taken care of.
It's kind of an unexpected consequence of being in wars for so long, combat casualty care. We know with inside that golden hour, so to speak, if I can get you to critical care into a hospital, the likelihood of your surviving is very good. So it may not be pretty, it may not be picture perfect as far as life-saving abilities, but if I can get you, so if I can put a tourniquet on you, if I can put some compression bandages on you, if I can keep your airway moving, and I can get you to a hospital within that hour, your chances of survival are very good.
And that's our paradigm shift. Is moving towards the threat while also addressing folks that are wounded.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
a two-pronged approach.
So you guys have brought this training to City Hall, to all city employees, and you've also offered this training to churches, to members of the clergy, in hopes that they'll bring that training into their own congregations. What was their reaction in participating in something like this?
Well, first of all, the amount of people who wanted to go through the training was astounding. I think we had well over 500
Wow.
participants.
Okay.
So they were eager for the information.
Right.
Again, they were starting to make their own safety plans for each building. Each one's unique. But you have to think about it too, a lot of times throughout history or looking at these incidents, religion really kind of sparks some people's nerves. And you have a lot of people that may not like Christians, may not like Muslims, may not like Jewish people, and that really brings up a lot of anger, fear, whatever. And so we've seen, especially down in South Carolina with Dylan Roof, where he came into the church and attacked that congregation there. So, the churches have looked at it realistically and said, just because we're prepared doesn't mean we have an issue, but we want to make sure that our flock is safe.
Absolutely.
And it's also identifying this as a target. A place of worship, what do you think?
You don't want to think about that.
They don't want to think about that. They want to think about, their faith, and no one is ever going to interrupt a service. We know different now.
Right, right. So when a church goes through the process of developing a safety plan, or a business owner, small business owner, large business owner, what are the things that they're thinking about, and what does that kind of safety plan look like?
Really, again, how do we get people out of the church safely if need be? Do we have armed security guards? Do we employ armed security guards? Do we have people in the congregation who are willing to step up into that role, go through the training, and actually put it to practice? Really, the biggest thing is thinking about it and actually looking at your individual location and trying to put a plan together. Thinking about it, you're tackling the problem before it even starts. So I'd rather have churches look at it this way and say it could be, even if it's a broken water main, and how do we safely evacuate? We have a lot of elderly people that like to go to church. So how do we get them out of there safely without being trampled and get them, do we have to put wheelchair ramps down there? Do I have to get them out through a different door? So these are the things we'd like them to think about. So not even in the fact of an active killer type situation, but
any emergency.
Anything else.
Sure.
And that was almost the same application for group homes.
Okay.
Where we can't move, folks can't run. They're either ambulatory or bedridden. How do we protect them?
Right.
So those are some of the considerations. Some of the group homes were asking us, how would we look at an active killer? Same thing as a fire drill.
Wow.
You had to have a plan in place to be able to move bodies some way, somehow.
You have to come up with unique solutions.
Unique solutions to unique problems.
Right. Now, do you guys advise school districts on their safety plans, that sort of thing?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And we've actually, the schools across the county have actually been very receptive to coming up with their own safety plans. City School District, we've been working with them for decades, actually coming up, and now with the modernization plans for all the school buildings, we actually have to go through and revisit and looking at the different layouts of the schools. But they've been, we've been very fortunate to actually use the buildings after hours and actually use them for training locations.
Okay. And what advice, what do kids need to know? It's an unfortunate thing to, have to talk to your kids about. How do you talk to your daughter about this type of thing to be prepared?
Be honest. And obviously, having a 15-year-old daughter versus an 8-year-old daughter, two different things, but you have to be honest with kids and, try to tell them exactly, some people might be here to try to hurt you, so find your favorite hiding spot. If you can find Mr. Smith and Mr. Smith is telling you to go out the door, don't question, just go out the door. You need to listen to the adults, because any good school is going to have those action plans and put into place. I know across the state, they don't call them fire drills anymore, they call them emergency drills, and they're required to do 9 of them throughout the year. And they have to be a mixture of shelter in place, lockdown, lockout, evacuations. So the state is actually understand that these need to be drilled into the kids.
I think for parents, sometimes we have a difficulty in understanding lockdown drill, you know, the different levels. Can you provide a little understanding of which each level entails?
It depends on the individual school district and their individual plans, because some lockdowns could be completely, we're going to secure the door and no one will be allowed in.
Okay. And shelter in place.
And shelter in place, which means that we're not going to allow anyone out or in. So one instance in Parkland was the one instructor or one teacher that didn't allow students in, which brought national outrage, a lockdown. So again, per their policy was no one goes out, no one comes in.
Okay, so different district to
different districts and different philosophies.
What do people need to know when they're in an open space, you know, concert or big event, those types of things?
Again, same thing. Look around, look up, pay attention to your surroundings, see where those exit points are, because if you have a concert of 20,000 people and people start to run, you quite likely will get swallowed up by the crowd, could get trampled. So if you have to figure out who you're with. If you have a family member that might have be on crutches, you have to make sure that you take some precautions so that person doesn't get trampled themselves. Those are just the things. Other than that, I mean, it's more awareness. We like to walk around and be aware of things. Not saying that we're overly cautious and I have to live my life in fear, but just being aware of what's going on. Look at the people around you, look at the spaces around you. That's all it is.
I know sometimes we've seen in like concert situations where there's gunfire and people think, oh, that's just pyrotechnics or it's part of the show. You guys have a tool to let people know that there is an emergency situation going on and that a note can be actually sent to your cell phone, is that right?
Yes, HyperReach.
Okay. And how does that work?
So HyperReach is basically a 911 system where if you register through the city or the county, we'll be able to contact your phone either by call or text, but you have to register.
Okay.
And a lot of times, if something's going on, they can put what they call a geofence around a location and say theoretically a 5-block radius around a location, and they'll put out that message to let everybody know in that area what's going on. But they can be very specific of the location or they can go countywide.
Sounds like a real useful tool.
Yes.
Now, the video that we saw that you guys use in the trainings is just part of a wealth of resources that Department of Homeland Security has put out there for the public to use as well, right? Can you just share a little bit about what other resources are available and how people can access those?
The Department of Justice also has, through their FBI, has the alert type of training program, which is similar.
Okay.
You also have FEMA's program, and you have a couple other different federal type active killer or aggressive deadly behavior type programs that are on the web.
Okay. Educate yourself. Just get on the computer and go to their websites. And, you know, you can fbi.gov and the whole world opens up to you. You can actually see there. FEMA is great, especially for, we just had the ice storm last weekend and people are getting ready for that. Look on the FEMA site and, you know, they can give you a lot of good tips as far as preparation for natural disasters.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on today and sharing all this very important information. Again, residents in the city of Rochester and Monroe County can sign up for those emergency incident alerts to be sent to their cell phones from the 911 center. You'll only get a text if there's a real emergency. You can enroll online at cityofrochester.gov/knownow or call 585-528-2200 if you have any questions about that.